Welcome to the Fourth Down Experience, the podcast devoted to special teams. Your host of the Fourth Down Experience, former pro free agent, 9-year professional kicking coach out of the Midwest, Coach Chris Hughesby. Alongside Coach Chris Hughesby is a former 2-time Arena Bowl champ, 9-year pro kicking coach, repping the South, Coach Brian Jackson.
Hey, what's up, 4D Nation? Chris here, Brian here. How you doing, Brian?
Doing good, man. Excited about industry tips and giving out some advice here on some pretty interesting topics.
Yeah, so if you guys are hearing this episode, you know that we've made the transition where we made our industry tips its own standalone episode. The feedback has been phenomenal. A lot of people are listening to this, which is great, and so we're happy that we separated it. So we've got a few more topics. Some kids and people have asked us more questions, and so our next topic that we want to cover are types of cleats and types of socks. You know, they kind of go hand in hand. So, Brian, why don't you start us off on a cleat discussion?
Yeah, you know, you guys might hear this and think this is kind of silly, but it's actually really important. There have been several times in my career, even post-playing career, where I just want to go out in a training session to go coach, and I'll put on some different types of boots, and I just won't kick the ball real well. And then, you know, a couple days later, I'll put on my tiempos, and I'll kick the ball like 7-8 yards further and higher. So cleats are super important in our position, kicking and punting, and also even socks. You know, different types of socks you wear, whether they're low top, high top, even leggings. So it's a very important topic. I think a lot of it is preference and how you feel. But definitely cleats are a pretty important topic. I know for me personally, you know, I have a little bit of a wider foot, so I like to have a little bit more leather on me. So as far as my foot, so I like more kangaroo leather. So I'm more of like a tiempo guy. Or if I was like, you know, in Adidas back in the day, you know, maybe like the old school Adidas cleat. What was the cleat that you used to wear, Chris?
In college, I believe I was Puma, actually, and then they were like busting out my senior year, and I was basically taping them because I was so superstitious. And then my second last pair when I became a coach were the Copa Mundials. You know, a lot of NFL guys were utilizing those, so I was like, if I'm going to buy one more, I'll just get those. And then recently, tiempos, and I love them. I just love how it feels off my foot. You know, it just pops off my foot really nice, so I'm falling in love with tiempos.
Yep, and tiempo is nice because it just has like that perfect happy medium where it's not too bulky and it's not too thin. However, there are a lot of kickers out there that like the mercurials, and they like that kind of like thinner material, and I think it's just a preference thing. You know, I usually tend to hear guys that say that they have wider feet like tiempos, guys that have like, I guess, regular sized feet, or maybe like thinner feet that they like mercurials. Seems like the hot, you know, two cleats out there. There are several kickers out there, especially in the NFL, that kick with Under Armour cleats, and which is kind of interesting. I haven't kicked with Under Armour cleats before, but you know, if Adam Vinatieri is kicking with Under Armour, then obviously something's going right there.
Exactly. One tip, guys, on cleats, or maybe two more tips with cleats here. You know, Brian and I, we train kids at all levels: middle school, high school, college, and even guys pursuing the NFL. A lot of beginner kickers that we get, you know, they're often that sort of combo transition kid, and they're wearing the cleats with the straps all over them and high tops and things like that. And our best advice for guys like that when you're just getting into kicking or figuring out how serious you want to make kicking is you want to have the tightest surface possible on your feet. You know, you don't need the little Velcro straps going across it or the triple knot in the shoelace. You know, if you have long laces, as I did in college, I would tie it up and then I would just tuck the laces in the side of my shoes. You know, but you want to eliminate all that extra stuff. You know, it's like a golfer. They're never going to swing their golf club with dirt on it because they know it's going to affect the spin of the ball. So having all that extra stuff in the way is a variable that will affect the ball flight. So you want to make sure they're smooth, they're tight. Brian, what do they typically say for how tight you want that cleat on your foot in comparison to real size?
Yeah, I think something easy for you guys to go off of is half a size down. So for me, I'm a 10. So I would get a 9.5 in the kicking cleat. I have heard of guys that go a full inch down, that if hypothetically if they were a 10 size, they would go down to a 9. And I really think that depends on the type of cleat that you get. So if it's a lot thinner and not as bulky, then you could probably kind of stretch it out a good bit and try to get that down to a whole full inch. But for me, and what's worked in the past is going about a half size down, and then just what a lot of kickers that I know do wrong, in my opinion, is they don't put enough time into breaking in the boots before they actually want to get into competitive play. So, for example, there have been several kickers that I know of. They get new boots, they may put them on, walk around the locker room or something like that, and the next thing you know, they have a game 2 days later and they're playing with those new boots. I would highly go against that. I would walk. One thing that I was always told by my dad is walk around the house. Obviously, if it's if the house can handle cleats, or just going outside on the grass and whatnot, just walking around and getting your feet to kind of mold into the boot, and then make sure you're kicking with the cleat 3 to 4 times for 2 weeks before you actually go play with them in the game. You want to make sure that that's your boot that you're kicking with, and you're kicking a great ball. You don't want to take any chances and going with a new cleat and not kicking well. So, Chris, half size down and making sure you're breaking in the boots before you put them on. Yeah,
and just because we brought it up, Brian, are you a long socks kind of guy or short socks kind of guy?
Oh, great question. I'm all about high socks, all the way up to the knees, and if I can wear leggings, because that was kind of something later on in our career. Leggings are popular now. I love, for some reason, for me, I like everything to be tight up to the shin, to the kneecap. If everything's kind of like tight knit and not loosey and baggy around my ankle, for some reason, like for me, preference-wise, I feel like I'm going to kick a better ball. And that kind of goes to the superstition type stuff, but really it's just all about being comfortable. Like for me, I don't kick well with like ankle top socks or socks that go to the middle of the calf. For me, I don't like that loosey, baggy type feel. I like a real tight knit sock up to my knee or leggings, and then maybe socks that go over top of it. What about you, Chris?
In my younger days, I was a long socks kind of guy, and somewhere in that transition, maybe it was my 5th year, I think I transitioned to the short socks or below the ankle socks, and maybe it was just because I finally discovered them and I just never had them in my life. So I like the no-look sock, but it's just, I think you mentioned it earlier, it's got to feel firm. I can't have that loose type of feeling. So if a sock's been overstretched, I just can't use it when I'm wearing the cleats. All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening to this segment of Industry Tips. We hope you like it. People are reaching out about it, so if anybody has interest in learning from either Brian or I, we do offer virtual lessons. So you don't necessarily have to meet us in person. However, we do run camps together and apart. So if you'd like to learn from us, just reach out to one of us, and we're here to help you out. Thanks again for listening, guys, and we'll see you next week.
Later, guys.
Hey, what's up, 4D Nation? This podcast has been brought to you by NKR, the National Kicking Rankings platform. It's the new and innovative national evaluation and rankings platform for kickers, punters, and snappers. Launched in 2017, this camp offers you a great balance of athletic evaluation and instruction. You'll get honest feedback and rankings, exposure to college coaches, but this camp is brought to you by credible coaches with experience that will deliver a high quality and detailed instruction to you. NKR offers an active social media platform that will give you proper exposure to all the collegiate outlets. This camp was developed by Brian Jackson, Chris Hughesby, and Tom Feely using a proven camp format from the last 7 to 8 years that specialists have come to love. Many of the specialists have received opportunities to play at all collegiate levels, including Power 5 conferences. If you'd like to attend an upcoming camp this offseason, visit www.nationalkickingrankings.com and check out the camps page. Or follow us on social media on Twitter at NKR_camps. That's NKR_camps. Or on Instagram at National Kicking Rankings to learn more about us and follow our growth. Come see what all the hype is all about and check out nationalkickingrankings.com.
Thank you for listening to the Fourth Down Experience. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at 4th Down Experience.